Amberlynn Reid has once again shattered her own narrative with all the grace of a bowling ball in a glass factory. She claimed she was taking a break, she claimed she was scared, she claimed she was silent. And yet here we are. In the span of just a couple of days, we've gone from disaster weather updates and Instagram baiting to behind-the-scenes copyright threats aimed at one of the most rational voices in the community. All while clinging to the technicality that she's not posting videos as if that absolves her from everything else she's clearly doing. What we're witnessing is not a break, it's a meltdown dressed in plausible deniability. This isn't a woman stepping away from the spotlight. It's a woman lurking backstage, pulling every lever she can reach, praying the curtain doesn't fall. But it will, because this performance is overbooked, overacted, and over. Welcome back. Let's discuss this chaos, shall we? Amberlynn emerged from her self-imposed shadow realm where she went to take a break from YouTube, and posted a comment that, on the surface, reads as a PSA about the Oklahoma wildfires. A noble gesture, you might think. A moment of community concern. But we can easily peel back the layers of this smokescreen. This is not about Oklahoma. This is about Amberlynn in Oklahoma. Observe the wording. I am scared. I'm struggling with breathing. I'm doing my best. It's a wildfire, yes. But in classic narcissist fashion, she's made the smoke all about herself. Now, it's obvious, wildfires are terrifying, and those affected deserve every ounce of empathy and support. But when someone with a pattern of manipulation, attention-seeking, and performative concern suddenly breaks her silence, not to raise funds, not to direct viewers to emergency resources, but to monologue about her fear and asking strangers to keep her in their thoughts, it's not advocacy, it's emotional laundering. It's sympathy farming at its most tragic. She's not just planting the seeds, she's out there with a shovel and fertilizer hoping her audience will forget the ongoing backlash, forget the criticism she earned and the endless cycles of manipulation by focusing on a crisis that she can't control but can certainly exploit. And the cherry on top is the top comment, I thought you were taking a break from YouTube. Precisely. You weren't supposed to be here, Amber, but the moment the tide turned against you and the air got smoky, you suddenly had to speak up. It's convenient. Efficient? No. Transparent? No. Expected? Entirely. Her response to that comment was, I'm not posting videos on YouTube, which still stands. It's the semantics defense. When cornered, the self-serving oracle of half-truths returns. Not to admit fault, not to clarify with grace, but just to technically maintain the illusion of integrity. You see, my darlings, Amberlynn believes she's outwitted us. She did not, in her words, post a video. She just commented, slithered back into conversation like smoke under a doorframe. No video, therefore no breach of her break. Case closed. No. Case opened, aired out and dissected under clinical light. Because this is classic Amberlynn. Reframe the narrative to maintain plausible deniability. She didn't lie, she just shifted the terms of engagement so that any deviation becomes your misunderstanding and not her deception. She's weaponized technicality. I'm not posting videos becomes a shield that she can hide behind, even as she stokes the fires of attention with emotionally manipulative posts. If this were a courtroom, her defense would be thrown out for insulting the intelligence of the jury. She's not gone, she's lurking, in comment sections, on Reddit. And this little passive-aggressive clarification, it's not about accountability, it's about control. She wants to be the one to dictate how she's perceived, without doing any of the work to earn back her credibility. Amberlynn isn't on a break. She's on the prowl, watching, waiting, and popping up just enough to remind everyone she's still the center of the story, without actually contributing anything of value to it. And then we get to the passive-aggressive siren call of a woman who simply cannot bear being irrelevant for more than 12 minutes. She has now entered the summoning circle phase of her performance art. Observe her cryptic message posted to Instagram stories, not a direct contact, not private approach, but public bait. That emoji is doing entirely too much. This is not a friendly request. This is a strategic move in a tired, transparent game. She wants us, the audience, the critics, the reactors, to lean in, to speculate, to amplify. It's not communication, it's provocation, wrapped in the flimsy guise of politeness. The passive voice, the fake gratitude, the absence of context. This is how she builds tension while claiming innocence. She is, as ever, desperate to control the narrative without dirtying her hands. If Salty Crab responds, she gets attention. If Salty Crab ignores her, she gets to play victim. It's a no-risk maneuver from a woman who's made deflection a brand. And we can't ignore the timeline. This comes after the semantic dodging about not posting videos and during her alleged break from social media. The woman's a ghost haunting her own YouTube channel, whispering through comment sections and stories like a petty poltergeist. She claims silence, she performs retreat, but this isn't absence, it's tactical lurking. She's now completed the trifecta: sympathy baiting, semantics lawyering, and creator threatening. She's become the embodiment of deflection in motion. Salty Crab is a creator well within the realm of transformative and fair use, and is now forced to pull content not due to actual violation, but because of Amber's favourite weapon, the threat of a copyright strike. Not enforcement, not facts, just enough menace to create inconvenience. It's calculated and it's cowardly. It's obvious that Amber knows she can't win a fair use claim. Member-only content is not exempt from criticism, parody, or commentary. But what she counts on is that creators won't want the smoke. She abuses the system to silence dissent. But she can't silence truth. She thrives not through righteousness, but exhaustion. She's not just trying to win, she's trying to wear you down. And it's pathetic. Rather than address criticism, she threatens it. Rather than reflect, she retaliates. And when that fails, she buries the evidence in semantic soil and calls it a break. But again, she is not taking a break. She is waging a quiet, pitiful war against anyone who dares hold up a mirror. And when the reflection displeases her, she tries to break the mirror instead of asking why it's cracked. Amberlynn could be offered a bouquet and she'd complain about the thorns. Salty Crab, with her calm tone, fair analysis, and, how dreadful, evidence, is precisely the kind of reactor that Amberlynn fears the most. Not the loud ones, not the petty ones, but the measured, smart, and credible ones. The ones that don't need to shout to expose dysfunction. The ones who ask, why are you like this, instead of simply saying you're awful. To Amberlynn, fairness is aggression. Balance feels like betrayal. Any attempt to hold her accountable, even with kindness or fairness, is perceived as an attack, because she can't control it. And we all know how she feels about control. She doesn't want an honest dialogue, she wants submission. And when that fails, she crafts a villain. She needs to be victimized to justify her flailing, and if Salty Crab won't oblige by actually being cruel, then she'll manufacture cruelty out of thin air. She'll declare fair use a war crime and act as if criticism is harassment. She's spiraling because the audience isn't playing her game anymore. And when you take away her ability to manipulate the board, all she has left are threats and tantrums. Amberlynn has mistaken silence for submission, semantics for strategy, and suppression for survival. She's lashing out not because she's strong, but because she's cornered. And when her usual arsenal of tears, tantrums, and technicalities fails to disarm the critics, she's defaulting to fear tactics. The copyright strike threat isn't power, it's desperation in a mask. She could have evolved, she could have grown, but she's choosing control over connection. And now she flails behind her carefully worded break, but she's forgetting one critical truth. You can't take down every mirror, and you can't silence every voice. And you can't copyright strike your way out of reality.